Khalia.
Hey, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. First of all, I love the intro. I was just watching and smiling.
This was just long enough for me to get up and run and get a napkin. A tissue, I mean. So, welcome everybody to the BUTV. Tonight, we are chatting with Khalia Debora from Khalia Debora Consulting. And like I mentioned a few episodes back, this season, season 2, I am celebrating all of the dynamic, influential women in my life, all of the women who work alongside me with Dear Beautiful Brown Girl behind the scenes, helping me to be the brand that I am. Without y'all, there is no me, because you guys have supported me, worked with me, coached me, all the things, all the things. And so tonight we are talking with Khalia, my business coach. Welcome, Khalia.
Hey, I'm typically watching on the other side.
So we had my mom. Of course, she did the kickoff episode. And then for a week, we did Black Children's Book Week.
Yeah.
So you're our first guest off of Black Children's Book Week. And I just want to talk about first, you as a coach, how you came into the role as
Oh
a
man.
business coach, just the journey behind the scenes and how, I guess, impactful your role is with business. And I can speak to how it's benefited me along the way. Um, and then what's going on in your life and what you're working
I
on.
know. Oh man.
So I started
So
working with you
2018.
2018. Like, I don't even think I launched yet. When
No.
Christy put us together, like, she connected us, Christy doing what Christy does.
Yeah.
She said, I need you to talk, you really need to talk to my friend Khalia. And that's all she wrote.
Right. And I just remember a phone call. Like there was no email, there was no text. I got a phone call from Kathy.
Listen,
And we vibed like right away.
all the time. Like, that's just how it works. And I just remember thinking, like, in the beginning, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just take a chance. Like, our
Yeah.
conversation, you had a lot of good points in our conversation. You were preparing to launch your workbook, right?
Yeah. Yep. Oh my goodness.
Now, was
Yes.
it just the workbook, or were you launching your business altogether?
I was launching the coaching aspect of my business because I
Okay.
was a photographer prior to coaching. That's how I navigated into consulting and coaching. Most of my photography clients were business and
Right.
entrepreneurs.
And what you offered me, and I said, I can't turn this down. You offered me coaching, and then you offered me a photography package.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if anything else, I walk away with awesome pictures. Like,
Yes.
I gotta do it. Like, it's a win-win.
Yep.
And yeah, I was on sabbatical, and so I needed that direction, because that was the
Yeah.
first time I had like a day, like,
Hmm.
so much of a chunk of a time. Normally I'm off for 2 months and then I'm back at work. And within that 2 month frame, I mean, time is usually like I take a break and then I'm prepping to go back to work. But being on
Yeah.
sabbatical for a full school year, that was that was a blank canvas. And so you
Oh
really helped
gosh.
me stay
Figuring
on
out what to do with
track.
all that time and stay
Yeah,
organized and stay focused. So easy when you got so much time to just, oh, I got time. And then you look up and 4 months then pass by.
right, right. And the accountability was huge, because
Yeah.
if I didn't do anything else, I made sure before our call, I had
You was
everything
ready. You
that
were
I need.
ready.
Boom.
Man. That's the biggest piece though. I think that's and I'm pretty sure we'll dig deep into that, but that's the one of the main components of people failing and making it. And I think I
Execute.
said this, what I forgot where I either said it on a podcast or on one of my lives. It's like everybody looks for like this accountability partner and stuff. Sometimes you got to show up and be accountable to you. So like I got your back, but
Mhm.
there's so many times where like before I could even say something, you're sending me a text, you're sending me a voice note, you're sending me something. I'm like, she already on it. But it's that piece of being, you got to be accountable for yourself as well. So that way, when you do have that accountability partner, It's just like that person that's helping you stay focused and helping you move forward.
But I value the power of accountability
Mhm.
because I can do it with you, I can do it without you. But
Yep.
when I know that I'm being held accountable and I'm first of all, two things. I'm paying for it. So you
Yes.
show up because you're paying for it. And then number
Yep.
two, it's just the expectation is different.
Mhm.
Because it's like having an assignment due and I don't want to fail. And
Yep.
so if I don't have, unfortunately, like I know we took a break at one point, my execution was different. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't as consistent as I would have liked to have been, because I kept thinking I had time. But
Yeah.
we meet every 30 days. And so
Mhm.
30 days that goes by really quick.
It sure does.
But as soon as we get off the call, I start working on things, and then 2 weeks I start making sure I can check stuff off my list, like
Yep.
2 weeks before we
'Cause
chat.
you never know when I'm gonna pop back in.
What it get in that part too, because you'll
Because
be
like
like,
it be random days. It be a random Tuesday at 1:34, and I'm
yeah,
like, "Yo, you're on my mind. What's up? What's going on? How's this going? How you do with this? How this? How the template go? How'd you do?" So it's just like you never know when I'm gonna pop in.
and it's been times where I'm like, oh, thank you. I meant to do that. Thank you.
But
And yeah,
it's
I'm
a two-way
working on it now.
street. It's a two-way street because you'd be surprised at how many people like they have the accountability partner right there, and no matter how much people are on their back, no matter how much people are pushing them, they don't want it bad enough. They don't want to show up for themselves. So
Yeah,
it's just like, what's the point? So always say, like, accountability partners are amazing, and we all have them. Not we all have them, but a lot of us have them. I have them. But if you don't want it for yourself, if you're not willing to show up for yourself, you're wasting their time
I agree. So
because
how
you
did
show
you?
up.
Yeah, I listen. I don't have no choice because as of June 14th, I'm a free agent, and I need things to
Yes.
be in place. Like
Ah.
this is different. I've always had a job. So
Mhm.
this is different. So I just for me being a person who in my like I guess emotional life, I have
Yeah.
anxiety. Like I just have anxiety.
Mhm.
One of the ways I cope or manage it is to prepare or do things that worry me. I prepare for them because it
Yeah.
brings down my level of anxiety. And so with this, it's the same thing.
Yep.
I'm working around the clock because um this is just nothing but time and opportunity. And
Mhm.
the only way to bring my anxiety down about leaving my job is to make sure I'm doing everything I need to do to line up
Yep.
opportunities for my future. Yeah. So
Which is something you should do. I know everybody's not a big fan of that, but I'm always like, well, before you just quit and just, I'm just going to be a full time entrepreneur. I'm going to do this. I'm going to run my business full time. Make sure you got something to run when you
but
quit.
yeah. But listen, I'll tell you this. When we first started talking, I don't know if you remember when we first started working together, I said all I have to do is make $10,000 a month and I can quit my job.
Hmm.
That's not true. Like, because I did
Stuff
that,
comes up. Life,
and
life happens.
yeah, and it's not enough though because there. What I didn't factor in was business expenses,
Yep.
um, so I have to pay for my business and my life off of
And
that
your
money.
life. Yep.
But if I didn't have that time, I'll say in quarantine actually, where
Yeah.
my business actually picked up a lot, I would have quit and thought that I could have did certain things, and no, that wasn't the case. So you
So I
definitely,
like the fact that you don't get married to a goal. Like I love chasing down goals, being focused on it, but make a goal and then like once you get to that goal or you hit a point and you have to reevaluate or reflect or pivot or something
Mhm,
like that, that's kind of one of the most important things in business to me is being able to pivot, being able to assess the situations you're in and saying, all right, do we keep going the route that we thought we should go? Or do we go left? Do we go right? Do we make a U-turn? Like, what do we do? Because, like you said, what if you would have just quit? Like, oh, I my 10K a month, like I'm doing it, I'm out, and then you hit that 1 month, like, oh, heck,
yeah,
So it's just like sometimes those goals, yes, have those goals in mind because you were killing it. you were chasing that thing down and then you made it, you got there like there's still more work to be done.
A lot
Let
more
me
work.
keep going.
Yeah. And because it wasn't even just about making a certain amount a month, but it was maintaining. And that's the hard
Yes.
fluctuates.
People
E-commerce, it
they
fluctuates.
want to quit when they hit a certain financial level. Oh, when I hit this number, I'm out. Okay, when you it's one thing to hit it. It's another thing to keep it going.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's another thing to keep it going. So when you're doing your forecasting and looking at your financials and stuff like that, it's like, all right, we hit this number, but what do we have to do to grow the number and then double the number and triple the number? You know, I
Yeah.
was talking to another client about forecasting, like, all right, this is what we did this quarter. Now this is what we got to do next quarter to double this or do this plus a half and stuff like that. I don't want you to always think about just hitting that number. How can I maintain it and grow it? Because I'm all about growing it.
Gotta grow it. Then, I mean, we can go on and on about, but there was other things like, okay, 401, like there are other things you have to think
Yes.
about that you have to have. And
Mhm.
so no, but thankfully having this time um,
Mhm.
and working with you allowed me to really be intentional about
Yeah.
everything that I'm doing because I didn't announce it until January, but we knew in October
No, but we were
we
working.
knew in
I
October
remember that
that
call that summer. It was like end of summer or midsummer, something like that, and we were working. But that's what people don't like to do. People like to have an idea, get a coach, get this, and they want something out in 30 days. But and then when you put it out, everybody's hyped, but they ain't see the 6, 7 months
yeah,
that you were just behind the scenes, which that's probably the most important part in some aspects.
I'm good for sitting on something. I sat
Bring
on
it out when it's
it.
time.
But how did you get started, Khalia? So you said you started as a photographer and you made your way into consulting. Well, first of all, what happened that made you want to shift?
Mhm.
And like, how did that happen?
So I started off as a photographer. I've always loved photography. I mean, like as a teenager, like my Christmas list was I want the new Nikon Cool Pics, like the little like I want the new Nikon Cool Pics. My mom would get me the new one every year. So I had always had a love for taking pictures. And college, I dabbled in it a little bit. I was a photo editor for my university. Um, and then once I graduated, the pictures that I was posting on Facebook, people were asking me to like take their pictures and how much I charge. And I'm like, are you gonna pay me to take these pictures? Because like I had been doing it for a hobby for so long. So then I just started taking people and I just started throwing numbers out there like, oh yeah, you can pay me this, I'll do this. And then it just kept growing. I kept working on my editing skills and stuff like that. And then I look up one day, a few years later, I'm like, I'm looking at like my clientele and the people, I'm like, these clients are like constantly coming back, like once or twice a year. And I'm like, hey, that many pictures. But then I realized the bulk list of my clientele for photography were entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, content creating and stuff was taking a boom. So
Okay.
everybody was coming back for multiple sessions. Like I was getting them like what? Few times a year because they got to build their content. Like content was hype right then. So I'm like, all right. So I started to then mix in because as I'm taking pictures of my clients, they're asking me questions like, or just telling me about their business. And I'm like, oh, have you thought of this? Or my background, my degree is in business. My
Right.
concentration is accounting and finance, but I have a degree in business. And they're asking me questions like, you thought about this? And I'm literally off the dome giving them free just free stuff, free
Mm-hmm.
business ideas and creative and innovative things they can do in their business. But that's just the way my mind works. So to me, I'm having a conversation. I would then look up and they done been in my session for like 2 hours where I was shooting and I was talking. They then take everything that I said and they go implement it. And I'm on social media like, oh, snap. Like it's working for them. So then I had took some time off. Um, to just like focus like what the heck am I doing here? Because I could do something with this. Like people keep coming back. They weren't even coming back for sessions no more for photography. They just wanted, hey, can I take you out to lunch? Can I have coffee? Can we talk?
Mm-hmm.
I took some time off. I said, all right, God, what we fitting to do with this? Like, because there's something here. And then I said, all right, that's when I launched my coaching. But my comfort area was photography. So I would do coaching and then I would give my clients a photo session
That
with
was
that.
good. That's good though.
And then I outgrew it. I'm like, I can't do all this because like the consulting became so time like taking up all my time and all of my research. Like I was spending time researching for my clients, doing this and doing that, preparing things for my clients. I said, I don't have time to do all this. And I was afraid to let it go because I would be booked every weekend for photography. Like I'm like, it was good money and I
Mhm.
didn't want to let it go. But one day God revealed to me, he was like, you weren't meant to be a photographer. You know, I had dreams. I mean, I remember going to Cali and I visited Smashbox Studios. I got pictures out front, like I'm having my own studio in Cali. Like I was, that's what that was my goal was. And God revealed to me that was just a vehicle. That
Mhm.
was just a vehicle to get you to where I needed to be because I was not comfortable letting people know my ideas and my thoughts because I was afraid if they go and they implement in their business and that thing fails, like that's my fault. So, I wasn't confident in, my ideas and what I was thinking and stuff. But after a while, I just chalked it like, look,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this thing. And then I fully switched over to consulting and it's been up
Didn't
from
you get
there.
certified as a life coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the reason I got certified as a life coach, because when I started to kind of switch my business up a little bit, and I realized that I was trying to build a business, but there was so much going on in my personal life
Mhm.
that was putting a damper on some of my business stuff. So my mind wasn't right. I wasn't focused because I was going through stuff, and I didn't know how to really navigate life and business,
Mhm.
and it was clashing. You know, on clients and I'm not in it and stuff like that. So I went through a hard period myself. But once I came out of that, I realized I was like, you know what? It's a whole lot of other entrepreneurs out here that's struggling in the dark personally and trying to show up in their business every day and wondering why they're slacking, wondering why they can't focus, wondering why, they got an attitude or people don't want to do business with them. It's just like because the stuff that's going on personally is affecting your business,
Mhm.
and I say it all the time. I've been saying it for years. Lauren Hill said it the best. You can't win when you're not right within. I
Mhm.
tell that to my clients. When we are right by us, we then show up better in different areas of our lives, like through therapy and all that. Like I went and got myself together and now I show up better. I think differently. Like my creativity is on another level. So I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? I took some time and I got certified as a life coach. So now as I'm working with my entrepreneurs, the startups, the even the small corporations I work with, the privately owned corporations I work with, I incorporate that. Like
Mhm.
I do check-ins, like, before we start, like, "What's going on? How you doing?" Like, "What's up?" Because what's the point of us having this session when you going through something that we need to address first? So, I give that aspect because life is still
See how
life.
that can go. I mean, I can see how that can. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
thinking,
go ahead.
but
Go.
definitely see how that can go hand in hand because sometimes, like you said, somebody might have a difficult time showing up
Yeah.
because imposter syndrome or
Yes.
overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. And yeah, I can see how you can address those things first and then get to the business. Because if you
Oh,
don't address those things, then it makes getting
it's
to the
going
business.
block.
Yeah. So that makes
I've
sense.
done it plenty of times. Like, I've met with clients on like our coffee chat or our discovery session, and I'm
Mhm.
meeting them for the first time and I'm listening to them talk. It only takes me a few minutes to really know what you need. Like, I've been doing it and I'm like, I know what you need already. It's been so
Mhm.
many people. They have amazing ideas, and I'm like, yo, I'm so excited to work with you on this. Like, but you're not ready. Personally, you're
Mhm.
not ready. And they always look, but no, like I'm like, no. So then what I do is I suggest I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna start life coaching first,
Mhm.
and then we'll go through some." And I'm certified as a transformation and solution focus. So I'm not just here to listen to you talk. I'm
Okay.
here to figure out solutions to get you past where you're stuck at. So we do that first, and then once you're right, your mindset's right, and you kind of get unstuck in that area, then we can dig deep in the business. Because otherwise, you're gonna waste your money and you're gonna waste my time.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. And so then, I know when we were working together in 2018, you
Hmm.
always brought it back to purpose over profit. because you can get caught up with how much money you're going to make and get lost
Yeah.
in your purpose. And so you got to remove
Oh
sometimes. Of
man.
course, we're not doing it for free. We have
No.
to stay in our lives.
Mm-mm.
But when money is the primary focus, then sometimes things don't, turn out how they need to because
Yeah.
you didn't put what needed to be focused on first.
I love those conversations with you. Y'all, if y'all ever have a chance to have a candid conversation with Kathy, it's the best. Yeah, because it be times we get on our session and she be like, I ain't got time to think about purpose. I need to make this up. I need this and I need to do that. And then we will rein us back in because when you're dealing, especially when you have a business that deals with people, when you have a business that deals with the public and you're selling products and you're selling service, like I always say, personal and then professional. You got to connect with people first. You
Hmm.
got to understand why the heck am I doing this? Like, even thinking of marketing and stuff like that. I say this to you all the time. Anytime we're talking about something new that's going to come up or a new opportunity, what's the first thing I say? Like, all right, how are we going to pull on them heartstrings? How the heck do you, how the heck you going to market properly when you haven't taken the time to nurture this thing, figure out why am I doing this? Why does my client need what I have? What is it going to do in their life and stuff like that? Once you start to make a connection that, hey, I'm not just running this business to make my pockets fatter, I am running this because I have a product or service or something that's going to make your life better. When you have a solution, you always have a seat at the table. You might as well have your own table
Hmm.
because that's what people need. People want solutions, things that make them their lives better. So the purpose is, why am I doing this? And I tell people, like, the one of my books that like really made things click for me in business is Why Business Matters to God and What Still Needs to Be Done About It by Jeff Van Duzer. We were created to create something that's going to benefit the lives of someone else. And
Hmm.
by us doing that, God goes, thank you, and he blesses us financially. So literally through my journey, I mean, he blesses us in so many other ways, but when it comes to business, it's like he takes care of us. So everything I do, I'm like, all right, like what is this going to do for my clientele? I'm constantly thinking about you guys because I'm like, that's what I'm doing this for.
If you look at how Dear Beautiful Brown Girl evolved over time, like remember initially I didn't put my face forward. Like,
Yeah,
and I wanted everything to look, remember, I just wanted everything to look like it came from Target. I wanted everything to look like it was packaged and professional. And I wasn't telling my story. I was just developing like
a
products.
brand.
And then
Yeah.
no, it doesn't work that way. Like,
I
and then
think you catapulted when you put yourself out there.
yeah. And for me to feel so passionately about it and not share why I did this or what this means to me and just the connection between they're my nieces, they're family. Like this is
Yeah.
a personal brand. And you were like, you gotta put your face out there. And I'm like,
Cause it's like back in the day, you could have got away with it. Back in the day when all these CEOs, that's what they did. Like they hid behind their logo, they hid behind their brand. They could make a mistake. They could do whatever. They could be on trial for something you would never know. They hid behind their brand. We do not live in an age where you can hide behind your brand because people like, I'm always thinking generationally, but us millennials, we're nosy, and us millennials are the parents of the girls that are invested in your brand. We're newsy. All right,
mhm.
what's this brand? It's cute. Oh, who own it? What's this? What's that? What they about? What's their lifestyle like? Stuff like, we are nosy.
You know what question I got asked a lot? Are
Uh-huh.
you black owned? Are you black owned? Are you black owned? Because
Yep.
there have been so many companies on the internet where they're selling things and monopolizing and making money, and they're not
And
black,
they're
but they're
yep.
creating these, products for black girls. And it's like, are you jumping on a bandwagon and selling it because it's popular, or do you have like a true purpose or mission behind it?
Yeah.
And
It's
so
a
I got
market.
asked that a lot. And then that's when I said, I gotta
You
step
gotta put your face out there because
in.
other not even just the showing your why, but that relatability. Like the afternoon of affirmations, and yes, I'm her business consultant, but I will hop in the volunteer seat in 2 seconds. I was running around, I was helping to set tables, I was helping little girls with stuff. Like, I'm not afraid to be your greeter. Like, I will bring myself down a notch when it's time to help serve. But that afternoon of affirmations was awesome. But those young black girls, they saw, well, those brown girls, they saw just you. They saw you. They saw that you cared about them. You saw that you wanted them to have a certain kind of experience. Like, that was relatability. And
You
then to
remember I
see,
cried. Like I
yes, like a
couldn't even get
baby.
the intro. I couldn't even get the intro out. Like
Mom Dukes had to step in.
I was so overwhelmed because I looked around and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was so overwhelmed. Like I'm an empath. I was overtaken by like all
And
the
they have
love
to,
in the
like,
room.
people have to see that. They have to
Yeah,
know your story and the purpose within your brand. That don't mean put your whole life out there.
right.
They ain't got to know what you eat for dinner. They ain't got to know every step you taking every day, you know, but they got to know your story in relation to how it connects to this business that you are putting out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely help with that. And I mean, I feel like I try to find like a good balance, but because I still keep a lot of my life private,
Mhm.
but
I what you
I'm a
mean.
public figure, so
Figure.
to
Yeah.
speak. But I'm also a teacher and I deal with kids. And so I just have to be careful with how I present
Yeah.
myself. And then I just first certain I don't want people to have that much access to my personal life. But
Yeah.
with Dear Beautiful Brown Girl, like if you would think that I share a lot. I share a lot as it relates to Dear Beautiful Brown Girl
Mhm.
and affirming girls and
But that's, I think, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a startup, whatever stage you are in, it is so important to separate the two. Because I was on both sides of that. I was on the side where I'm like putting everything out there, like, when I'm traveling, when I'm going to events, when I'm doing this. Like, I was enjoying social media and I was enjoying, I'll start off as a photographer. So I absolutely love taking pictures. So I'm like,
right.
oh, that's cute. I'm posting it. Like I was that. Now I what probably beginning of December, I was just like, it's kind of getting a little old and sold out. So like I literally just stopped. I was like, if it's not about my brand, if it's not about business, you ain't seeing it. I even removed
But
some
wait,
things.
pause because your wedding video was beautiful. Oh my god, that wedding video was.
Is it up there? Because I removed a
You
lot
removed? No,
from.
that was so nice.
I
Like,
remove it. It might. It. I think I have like a few different things, just so people, because I am a life coach, so people can see like, oh, like this is the kind of person she is. This is who she is. But there's also a lot that I took down. Like, you don't need to know that. Like, so now it's just like I've been personally not on social media since like the first week of December of last year. I love it. I
yeah,
love it. Like when I go out, I'm like, none of your business what I'm doing. If I'm traveling, none of your business where I'm going. If it doesn't relate to business, it's none of your business. But the thing that I like about it is that it separates me, it separates my life, like my business from personal.
mhm,
And if you are in my circle, you know what's going on with me. I got so many text messages and, calls like, "You okay? Like, what's up?" Because they haven't seen me on social media, and I'm like, "I'm
okay,
fine." But people in my circle knew that already. So,
yeah,
it just kind of separates the people who are just keeping up with you through social media or just kind of getting a peek in your life and you give them that access. You separate them from the people who are like, "Nah, we in this. Like, we're doing life with you," and that's what I like.
yeah,
And the higher you get, because most people want to put everything out there now, the higher you get in your success, you are not going to want that. Look at these celebrities now. I don't want, when I hit, you know, when I'm breaking in everything, when I'm doing all this stuff, I don't want you in my personal life.
mhm,
Beyonce and Jay-Z, I love how they move. You know what they want you to know.
yeah.
They know what they want you to know. And it's just like I like
But
I
then
like
you feel like though, like with Beyonce, you feel like You know I'm a Beyonce fan. That she let you in artistically. Like she let you in.
Mhm. But
Again,
she lets you
shared
in when
when she
she
when she
wants to,
wanted to, and she shared what she wanted to share, and she shared,
how she wants to share
but
it.
you still felt like
Mhm.
you got a piece of her life. But um, talk about your partnership with Penn because that was a really nice event that you did.
Oh, man.
Penn.
In 2019, so I founded a nonprofit called Dreams to Founder, and we kind of launched like literally right when COVID hit.
You
But
really.
right before we launched and we announced that we were 501 c3, we in 2019 that fall we had a conference. It was our first conference. It was my first time ever throwing a big conference like that. I was nervous as heck, like, oh, I am not the popular trick on the block. How am I going to fill a room with like 200 plus people? And we ended up selling out way before. We had people at the door that didn't even buy a ticket, but it was like it was sold out and we were willing to stand in the back. I was like, okay, let them in. But Dr. Bridget Bronner was, I think she's at Villanova now, but she was my connection. And one day we were talking, I was just talking about, I told her about a conference I was planning. I didn't have a venue, I didn't have money. Like, I had money, but not to put on a big old conference like that. But I was like, I was preparing 4 months before I had this conversation. I said, I have this idea, I have this dream. I just started sketching it out.
Mm-hmm.
4 months later, I'm on the phone with her and I'm just going ham. Everything I wrote down, she was like, "Hey, can you send me blah 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 blah?" Just yes, I sent it to her like that. Within like 2 days, she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, we would love to host it." I was like, "What?"
And that was at Penn. That
Yes,
was at Penn.
University in Penn. And they gave us one of their newest spaces and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. They had their tech people there to help. Like people were coming from everywhere and we had the students involved. Students were invited. Penn staff was there
Yeah.
and it was awesome, but it was just a time to pour into the community about entrepreneurship, about mental health. Even we had people that were in their careers talking about your career journey and,
Mm-hmm.
sticking with your career while you're building and stuff like that. It
And was
was,
that geared towards students? Because I remember it was a mixed crowd because I was there
yeah. So
in the
it was
morning.
geared toward students as well as entrepreneurs, and not even if you weren't entrepreneurs, students, entrepreneurs, startups, and also people within their career that were looking for professional development. And
Okay.
people go, well, why was this conference geared toward all those different kind of people? I said, because number one, as a student, that's where these ideas are planted. We just don't always move on them right away. So I'm always encouraging my mentees that are college students, what's your business? All right, let's work on that plan. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I would have started some stuff in college, I'm like, yo, this would have been so decent.
Yes.
But and it's just even the people who are in their careers for professional development. We do life coaching. We talk about mental health and growing in your career without feeling like you're giving up on your dreams. You don't have to do that. And understanding that I don't have to quit my career to start building my business, and understand that it's possible to love your career and also love this dream that you want to build and you work your way. Like um I work in finance. I love my team. I love what I do. So it's like understanding that you can have both. Yes, there may be a time that comes in life where you can't do both and you have to give one up. But
Mm-hmm.
just teaching the ability of you're probably not even probably, but a lot of times we're in our 9 to 5s, we're in our careers because there's something we can learn from that we can implement in our business.
Mm-hmm.
Some people they want to quit their job. I be talking, I'm like, nope, you're not ready. There's a whole lot that you need to learn in running a corporation. If you want to move past the coffee shop or working at the table in Starbucks, if you want to move past that and become a business that's here for generation after generation after generation, you probably need to stay at your career and learn some stuff
Mm-hmm.
because apparently they're figuring it out,
I'm
So too many people want to quit, and I'm like, you ain't ready. You still got a whole lot to learn. So you might want to sit back, learn, and plan in private until it's time for you to step out there.
so what's next?
Oh man. Ah. So with Khalia Debora Consulting, we did just rebrand. I used to be Khalia Debora Coaching, but we moved to consulting because when I first started my coaching, it was a lot about teaching and, you know, the baby steps, like
Mm-hmm.
what is a business idea and stuff like that. My clients aren't there anymore. My clientele, we're all about growing. We are innovating our business operations. We're, oh, we're at this figure. We're trying to get to this figure. We're trying to do this and we're trying to do that. So it's just like, no, like we're consulting. We're now into maintaining and growing. We're hitting these 30-day power goals. We're figuring out how to expand our businesses. And it's no longer, I'm not teaching you the one, two, threes of business.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting, very strategic about, all right, I'm here. How do I get here? So I rebranded to consulting, which I'm excited about. So some things that, people can expect next. There's going to be, I have YouTube content out that I'm going to push out. There's going to be a whole lot more business resources and things like that, mastermind groups. And I'm so excited about our mastermind group. But I'm going to have a mastermind group where it's going to be a group of powerful business owners that's going to come together, and that's our time to pour into one another, help each other solve problems, and just also learn and develop. So that'll be kicking off in Q2. But yeah, just kind of doing that and raising money for the nonprofit. That's a huge focus for me right now because I love the clients I work with, but I still do have a heart for the people who can't afford things like a business consultant and stuff like that, or people in the community that's like, I want to grow my life. I don't have the resources. Sometimes their side hustles and their businesses is feeding their family and stuff. So we want to continue to raise funds and give back to them.
When you talk about your network, I just want to pause
Hmm.
on that for a second because one of the things you tell me is if I get stuck, just text you. And
Hmm.
I was preparing to submit a new application for a new trademark, and I got
Hmm.
stuck. And I
Yeah.
sent you a text, and we hopped on a call. What, like 10 minutes? And then you sent me another text with
Hmm.
Talea's information.
Yes.
Me and Talea been rocking and rolling since. She got all of my trademarks together,
Like right away, not like
all the way together.
immediately.
Yes. And she it was just it's the network. And
Yeah.
so I think sometimes
It's not just
um
me. It's and I tell people all the time, like I do what I do, but it's not just me. I have a team of people.
right, and but like so I was on the phone with my I have I have the business coach for the tutoring company
Yeah. Mhm.
earlier today, and she has a series of court like she has it's a class, and so
Yeah.
it's a class, and we go through the class, and then on Saturdays we have group coaching as
Mhm.
we form our businesses. Well, we're at the end of it, like it started back in January, and she asked me did I find value, and I said you gave us a lot of good information. How you packaged the information was super beneficial. A
Yeah.
lot of that information, if we really wanted to go on the internet and search for it, we could find
You
it.
can find
We
it.
can
Yeah.
Google it. But she brought the energy, she brought the
Yeah.
information, the wisdom, like all of that. You get all, you don't just pay for the course, you pay for the experience. And
Yeah.
I would say the same thing with you. Like when we sit down and I'm pouring out all my ideas and then you help me synthesize it so it makes sense. Not only are you giving me that wisdom and insight, but then you give me access to your network. Like that's
Oh
not the
yeah.
first time you've connected me with the other brand photographer when
Yep.
we did the other brand photos. Like you've
That's
connected
awesome.
me to
Mhm.
um Monet, the
Yes.
personal chef.
Caterer. Yes.
And she did my meal planning
Yo,
the whole
afternoon
time I
after
was
and
doing
she did
sabbatical.
afternoon affirmations. I
And
forgot
she
about
did the
that.
afternoon affirmation. And her chicken salad is the bomb. Like, so it's like the network. So, and I just want to stress that to people when you think
Oh, I'm
about
not stingy. Yeah.
when you're paying for a coach or you're paying for a consultant, you're not just, it's not a package deal like, oh, okay, she's going to teach me A, B, and C. Like, vetting is important because
Yeah.
you're also paying for their experience, um,
Mhm.
access
And
to
their
the
network.
yeah,
Yes,
because
access
you're
to
going to
their people.
connect me to the people from your nonprofit. You've connected me to other people who you've worked with. Like you get all of that. So it's not just a monthly call where you
Yep.
help me order my events or order my to-do list and help me. You do way more than that on our call. Like you get like the ideas, they just come pouring out. Like I'm first of all, I'm all over the place and I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And you're like, okay, so pause. Let's start with this. Like that's important. And that's something between
Mm-hmm.
you and my mom, I had to learn because
Yeah.
I would have all of these ideas and I want to execute everything, but y'all taught me reason, like steps
Yeah.
and things go in a sequential order, and everything doesn't, because you have an idea today, it doesn't have to be executed tomorrow. It's a process.
Yes.
You help me with that process. I just wanted to stress that because I tell people about your coaching all of the time, or consulting all of the time, and it's like you're getting more than a business coach. Like
Yeah.
more than that. Like it's a network, and it's the wisdom, it's your connections. When I was in 2018, because your background is business, and
Yeah.
was it accounting? I want to say accounting, right?
Yeah. My concentration is accounting and finance.
You
Yeah.
did all of my
I forgot about that.
like like and
Your
that's
inventory
from the
spreadsheets.
coaching. But because that's something you're skilled in,
I
that's
was like,
something
no,
you
girl, you need
provided
this.
for my royalties and my sales tax and all of that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's you really gotta vet the person. And I've had trash courses because I'm gonna pay for a course. I didn't always luck out, but the reason
Yeah.
why me and you still work together is because I definitely see the value and it's an asset, and I don't think I'll ever let go of my coach or consultant, because as I grow, you just need that. Like for me, that's what I respond to. I'm a really good student.
Yes, you are.
I like assignments and projects. So good with that. So when I put it in that frame of mind, I'm like this.
Yeah. And we do. After every session, you have tasks
Yeah,
because we got to power through these 30 days and it has to
yeah.
get done in those 30 days.
And it's frameworks though. Like you will help me establish frameworks that I'm going to
Hmm.
utilize, like especially this
And
summer when I'm thinking about it.
SOPs, like you'd
Yeah.
be surprised at how many businesses don't even have standard operating procedures or don't even know what the heck
And
they
now
are.
everything is a procedure. What's my procedure for that? How do I do?
Like
Yeah.
you want to be a big business, but you still thinking like a little one. You still
Yeah.
thinking like an idea, but you want to be a big business. You go into something based on you go to McDonald's. They got a procedure for how you make a Big Mac. You have a podcast. Do you have a procedure about how you invite guests, how you perform your podcast, how you do this, how you do that? You have events. You have a procedure about how that goes. Like, I mean, we went through ours
Yeah. I have
and
it for everything now. Like now
it,
I
it
can't
makes
even
life
start a
easier
task without creating my SOP for it.
because like
Yeah.
the bigger you get, as you've seen over the years, Kathy, year after year after year, you grow and you grow and you grow and you're gonna continue to grow. You don't have, and this is gonna sound so crazy, you don't have time to think about the minute things.
Right.
Like you don't have time. I want you to just spend all of your time on what you're here to do. Not all the time, oh my God, wait, do I email this? Do I do that? It's right here. Just step by step. Open your procedure if you forget and go step by step.
Templates, all of that.
Yes.
And it makes it easier to hire and bring somebody else on.
Yep.
When you start thinking about it that way from the beginning, when you hire somebody, it's 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 easier to delegate a task because the process is there.
Yep.
And because I work with you is written.
I don't play. Like, uh-uh.
So yeah. All right. So
Man.
listen, one more. I know you wrote a book. We shared it before
Yes.
on IG Live. Do you have a picture of it?
I do.
Super cover. What
I
is it
love
about?
it. So cheers to the fall and to the purpose of it all. I went through like such a tough period, like at the beginning of my journey. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of this, but when I was trying to do business, when I was trying to just figure life out, I was in such a dark hole. And I write all about it, like from getting pregnant, not even a year after graduating college, and you know, all my struggles I write about in the book
Okay.
because uh from imposter syndrome to having to be by myself to, understanding why am I going through all of this?
Mhm.
Because one thing, people just go through stuff, but they never think about, like, all right, well, what am I going through this for? There's so many of my entrepreneurs and business owners that I talk with, and they're going through something in their personal life, and I pause, like, all right, I know we talking about business, but let's break this down. And it gives them clarity. It helps them push forward. They understand why they're doing it. The purpose in their business relates to your story. I'm like, some people feel so lost, and I'm like, take time to like introspect. That's
Mhm.
where you find yourself. When you center yourself, you find yourself. So instead of being boohoo and crying about my story, I was like, all right, I got to be more to this than just this. But I had to go through these things because he was, he's like, look, I'm making you into this woman I need you to be because your life is not just about you. Your
Mhm.
life is about Kathy. Your life is about this person. Your life is about this person, the people that you're going to impact. So I need you right up here. I need you right in here. You
Mhm.
know, your your life is bigger than you. I'm prepping you for the wife you're going to be. I wrote this book before I started writing this book before I was even engaged. Like the last chapter of this book is like one of the last few pages I talk about the engagement because I literally was finishing my book up when it happened. But it was just a testament that like there's redemption. Like I say all the time, this book is a book of truth, grace, redemption, and restoration.
Mm.
That like your story's not done yet, but you have to do the work. You gotta do the work. Sometimes it hurts like hell, but I promise you, I'm not ashamed of anything I went through because I'm like, I needed it. I
Mhm.
couldn't be this today for you if I didn't realize these things. So everything I went through in that book, there's a lesson, and I share, and there's a reason why.
Mhm.
So in every chapter, there's a question because my whole thing is I don't do
That's
anything
I like
without helping somebody else
yeah.
look inside to say, all right, what's up with me? It's people that send me voice notes every single day, Kathy. Yo, I'm reading this and this is what I thought about and da da da. Da. Like it's so cool to hear people not even talking about my story, but just talking about this made me think about this, and I think I'm gonna do this differently, or I think I need to go to therapy for this. I need to. It's just like that's what we're here for.
Mhm. Where is it? You can find it on Amazon.
KhaliaDebra.com. You
Mhm.
can find it a lot of places.
Everywhere.
If you order it off of KhaliaDebra.com, you might get a little fancy note in there because I write notes in every single book that I ship out. Hopefully my note hits you when you get your book. But KhaliaDebra.com, you can head over there and purchase the book. You can buy it on Barnes and Noble. You can buy it on Amazon. It's on Apple Books. We're working on an audio book now, but yeah, you can
Are
pretty
you
much.
reading your own audiobook?
I am.
That's cool. I'm
I
like,
was not gonna do it, but everyone was like, "No, we need to hear you." I was like,
listen, when Will
"Okay."
Smith read his book, it's nothing like it.
Yeah.
But look, lightning round. You
All
ready?
right, come on, let's go.
All
Let's
right,
go.
all right, all right. So, what's the last book that you read?
Oh, the last book I read was one I read many a times. It is The Richest Man in Babylon, but Building Wealth.
Winter, summer, spring, or fall?
Summer all day, bring the heat.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal. Ooh, jeez, that's hard. I let it eat. Favorite meal. I love Wagyu. Like if I can get
Like,
Wagyu,
you
I
like
have it.
spaghetti sauce?
No, like Wagyu. It's a
Oh.
steak. So if I surf and turf, like give me steak and seafood. Favorite meal, steak and seafood.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Text or talk?
Oh, talk. I suck. I don't. That's why I send you voice notes. I don't like texting.
You really do. You really do.
Voice notes be 2 minutes long.
You
I'm
do.
sorry.
And
I
then
hate texting.
you'll get a text right back. Cause I gotta text what you just said so I won't forget it. Cause the voice note it disappears.
You can
But
keep it. All you gotta do is hit keep, and you can keep it.
oh really?
Yep. I don't like texting. I'm sorry, y'all. It just let's
That's
talk.
you're the first person on here that said talk. I text all day. And the last question is if you could work with any celebrity. No. Here's a good question. If you could shadow any boss, like maybe a shark, like any boss, who would you want to
Any
shadow?
boss. If I could shadow.
That's a good one because you're a business consultant. So if you could shadow like maybe Mark Zuckerberg, like if you could shadow any boss, business owner, whatever, who would it be?
Dang, because I got like a couple for like a couple different reasons. I know it gotta be one, but I'm gonna
All
just
right,
say a
give me
couple.
two. Give me two.
One would be TD Jakes.
Okay.
Like Bishop TD Jakes. Like, cause everybody know him as like Bishop TD Jakes, but he's a businessman.
Right.
He's a businessman, but he has like that purpose behind him and that drive behind him and stuff like that. But from a business standpoint, and this is simply behind how the business operates. I like Del Partridge, but Google. I love how Google operates. I love how they think about their people, at least from what I know. Again, when employees work there, something different.
Right.
But from some of the people I know that works there, just like the balance of life and their creative process and their creative spaces inside of their, corporate offices and stuff like that. Like I like how they give their employees the space to be creative. You
Okay.
know, I like how they give them, the space to just be, and it's open concept, and it's probably different actually working there, but from what I've heard from people I know who work there and things I've read, I'm like, I love creating spaces for people to be great, creating spaces for people to grow, to be creative. Like I think of the dream center that I will open one day, and I'm like, it's going to be not run like the typical business, but it's going to be a creative space. I want to create spaces. That's just
That's
three
cool.
people. I got a long list. I'm sorry, y'all. For different reasons. Like it's all different reasons. Like I want to shadow, the CEO of Google because I just want to know like your creative and innovative aspect behind how you handle your employees and spaces that you create for them and opportunities you create for them. Why? Like
Hmm.
TD Jakes from how he handles his business to leadership. Like I'm gonna be in Charlotte at the end of the month simply to go to his international leadership conference. Like I want to be poured into,
Oh,
so it's
that's
just
where
like,
that's where you're going. Okay.
yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. I have people for different reasons.
I can see that. I have people for different reasons. I'm not big on favorites. I have
I'm not. That's why it's
things
such a
that
hard
I like in a
question.
moment for certain reasons. So I agree. Like I can definitely relate to that. Um
Yeah.
Thank you, Khalia. As
No
always, nice
problem.
chatting with you.
Yes.
Eating your
Always here if you need me.
yes, I need you. Don't forget to send me
Yes. I already know. It's on my list. I literally wrote it
appreciate it.
down.
And I'll be sending you some drafts of some other things that I'm working on. So I'm excited. So looking
All day.
forward to the future. Thank you so much for working with me. And like I had shared when my mom was on here, a lot of times you hear black women get a negative, like they'll say things like we can't work together or we're catty, and and I
Hmm.
that's not my experience. My experience has been the complete opposite. I have nothing but a strong team of black women behind
Yes.
me, and I love it. Like I love it, and it just helps me do even more of the things that I love doing. So thank
Bam.
you.
I got your back as always.
All right, so guys, thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week. I'll post our guest. Yeah, I'll post the guests. I'll post the guests. And yeah, this will be live on my YouTube channel. It'll be live. It will live on Facebook. And of course, it'll be on my website. So
Awesome. See you
oh,
guys. Thanks. Oh.
what I wanted to tell you was this will probably be the first audio recording that I use
Hey. Yes.
for
I'm
the
all down for
podcast,
it.
Beautiful Brown Girl
Yes.
Project.
So look out for that, please.
Yes.
Stay
I mean,
tuned.
how fitting is that? You helped me with you helped me like develop the SOP, all of that.
Yes.
So I'm
Oh
like,
God, I
why
forgot we
not?
did that a couple months ago.
Yes.
Yes, step by step, baby.
Yes.
That's
Oh, and
awesome.
last thing, where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to work with you?
Oh yeah. Best place to go is KhaliaDebora.com. But if you want to creep on me, I have an Instagram at Khalia _ I'm on Twitter, but I'm on Facebook. But KhaliaDebora.com or Instagram at Khalia.
All right, cool. All right, have a good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, see you guys.